The demonic cult leader is my wife. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, what did he just say? Cheon Jinsang said, looks like you mastered it without even knowing what it truly is, the divine sword art. That is the true identity of the sword technique you have learned, is it not? Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, the Ten-Fang divine sword art. I only learned it because of my master's recommendation, and it seemed powerful enough. To think it was a sword technique created to kill the heavenly demon. I never even imagined that, before that. How do you know about it, Academy Head? Cheon Jinsang said. To explain that, I will need to go over our cult's history. The 6 clans of the demonic cult were originally supposed to be 7. Did you know that? You are referring to the Ban clan, right? Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, the heaven-defying Ban clan, a clan founded by Murim, the first disciple of the first heavenly demon and the potential next cult leader. However, due to certain reasons, he rebelled against the first heavenly demon and was completely annihilated. All records of him were erased. Cheon Jinsang said, the divine sword art was something practiced by Murim and his bloodline. Since then, it vanished from the world for hundreds of years. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, hundreds of years, huh? So, if they were supposed to be exterminated at least 1,000 years ago, you are saying there were sightings of them in between? Cheon Jinsang said, yes. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, when the second heavenly demon appeared, someone claiming to be a descendant of Murim challenged him to a duel. Naturally, the second heavenly demon won. However, it is said even the heavenly demon was gravely wounded and had to recuperate for years. As my master said, the Ten-Fang divine sword art, it is said to rival even the heaven-slaying demon sword art. Seems like my master was not lying after all. Since that person went up against the heavenly demon himself, it has been proven, whoever that was, he was a madman. Blast it, now I have one more reason to go find my master. What exactly is his true identity? And why would he teach me a sword technique shrouded in such secrecy? I have far too many questions. So, with that, does it mean I have learned a forbidden technique? Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, the heavenly demon is the god of the demonic cult. If this is a technique meant to kill such a being, would not simply learning it be considered treason? There is no one else around right now. Maybe he is telling me this secret so he can wipe me out afterward. Cheon Jinsang said, that is partially true, but not quite. After all, the divine sword art was originally derived from the heaven-slaying sword of the first heavenly demon. Therefore, if it is practiced by the disciples and descendants of the founder, it is not forbidden. Jin Yomyoung said, so basically because I am a direct line of one of the 6 clans, it is acceptable? Cheon Jinsang said, a long time ago, the head of the Ma clan requested the technique from the second heavenly demon and was granted the manual. That is why. Follow me. It is time for you to see your reward. Jin Yomyoung said, we are going into a pitch-dark place? Cheon Jinsang said, you are still suspicious of me. Jin Yomyoung said, of course. If you decide to do something to me here, I would be helpless. Cheon Jinsang said, shall I reveal something about myself to ease your paranoia? My real name is Cheon Jinsang. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, the Cheon clan? Cheon Jinsang said, even your father probably does not know that. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, so that is why he is wearing a mask. Being from the Cheon clan does not necessarily mean he will not commit murder or erasure. But let us follow him for now. As Jin Yomyoung walked with Cheon Jinsang, a few moments later, Jin Yomyoung said, that is a night glow pearl, is it not? Cheon Jinsang said, it is not practical to use torches in here. Jin Yomyoung said, true. Cheon Jinsang said, if we keep going straight, we will reach the first gate of the mainstream's Cheon-il Academy. Unless you want your life to end, I recommend you do not go there. We are going this way. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, a side path? Jin Yomyoung said, what is over there? Cheon Jinsang said, the original training facility used by the first heavenly demon over 1,000 years ago no longer exists. The mainstream is just an imitation of it. Jin Yomyoung stopped, shocked and confused. Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, however, this is the right location. I am about to show you the legacy left behind for you. This is the reward the academy head is giving me. Cheon Jinsang said, even I cannot break through this vault head-on. Jin Yomyoung said, you are telling me this has been sitting here untouched for 1,000 years? Jin Yomyoung thought to himself, this does not make any sense. However, as the saying goes, mankind knows no limits. If the mountain is in the way, dig through it. Cheon Jinsang said, did you forget what is resting atop this place? Jin Yomyoung said, ah. He thought to himself, A statue of that size would easily be considered a sacred religious object. I basically just suggested destroying a sacred statue to take the treasure inside. Cheon Jinsang said, "You look ordinary, but your mind is something else." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, "I am being called ignorant, how shameful." Cheon Jinsang said, "Do you know the meaning of these marks?" Jin Yomyung looked at them and said in confusion, "Marks?" Then he was shocked and exclaimed, "This is the sword path of the Ten-Fang divine sword art. So that is why you brought me here." Cheon Jinsang said, "Ordinarily, if one replicates the sword path etched here precisely, the door should open." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, of course, it has to be done continuously, from Form 1 to Form 10, without a single break. Jin Yomyung said, "I cannot do it right now." Cheon Jinsang said, Why?" Jin Yomyung replied, "I will show you." He drew his sword, channeling aura into the blade. Using the first fang of the Ten-Fang divine sword art, Jin Yomyung demonstrated, to fully draw all 10 forms from 1 to 10, the first form must shine for at least 20 seconds. As you can see, my current ability only allows for 2 seconds at most. If I use enhanced energy, it might be slightly easier. But to draw out the sword forms cleanly without causing damage, I will need to reach the supreme demonic cultivation level. Cheon Jinsang said, "That will take decades." "What a shame." Jin Yomyung said, "Academy head, you said this is my reward, did you not?" Cheon Jinsang replied, "That is right." Jin Yomyung said, "In that case, please guarantee that when I finally open this vault, the Jin clan and I will have priority rights to its contents." Cheon Jinsang said, "I cannot give you everything." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, judging from his reaction, "I can tell what is in there. It must be the Cheon clan's greatest secret." He said, "Then take only what is necessary for the Cheon clan, and leave the rest to me." Cheon Jinsang said, "Do you even know what is in there?" Jin Yomyung replied, "How could I?" He thought to himself, "That being said, if my guess is correct, even if we can open it, we should not open it yet." Cheon Jinsang said, "All right, we will do it that way." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, if I had pushed too far, I might have really gotten killed. As Cheon Jinsang began walking back, Jin Yomyung asked, "By the way, what is this?" Cheon Jinsang said, "That is an energy-absorbing orb. It is a tool that responds to internal energy and can trigger specific mechanisms." Jin Yomyung looked at it more closely and said, "Huh? That means," Cheon Jinsang said, "this energy-absorbing orb only responds to certain types of internal energy. It did not work for the Cheon clan, the 6 clans, or even the Orthodox sects." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, "But somehow, I have a feeling it will work for me. Maybe there is a reason my master specifically told me to learn the heaven-soaring divine art. Should I try it? I am doomed if the door opens, but I do not think it will. It is just a feeling, just a little. I will inject a tiny amount of energy. If it looks like it is going to open, I will stop immediately." As Jin Yomyung touched the orb, suddenly energy rushed into his body. A voice echoed, "Why? Why, master?" Jin Yomyung thought to himself, "An altar?" Senior brother Jeon said, "Was my desire that excessive?" Crying, senior brother Jeon shouted, "Why am I not even allowed to hold on to the one I love? Even if you are my master, I will never forgive you for this." Junior brother Jin said, "Senior brother Jeon, mind your words. You are talking to master." Another brother restrained junior brother Jin and said, "Let him be, junior brother Jin. He has lost all reason. Words will not reach him now. He has gone mad. He threw away the right to climb to the highest place all for a woman." A yellow-haired man said, "Hey, did he not even take the hand that was offered to him? In that case, he is no longer our senior brother. We must now call him what he is, a traitor, a traitor, a betrayer." Senior brother Jeon shouted, "Remember this well, master. The one who betrayed me first was none other than you." The master listened, smirking. Cheon Jinsang's voice cut in, "Why are you just standing there like that?" Jin Yomyung snapped back to awareness, confused. "Huh?" He thought to himself. That scene just now was someone's past memory. If I piece it together with what I know, the one glaring at master from beneath the altar must have been Mu Mayong. Cheon Jinsang shook him and said, "Hey, snap out of it. Ooh-ah!" Jin Yomyung yelped as he was shaken. Cheon Jinsang asked, "What is going on? Do you know something?" Jin Yomyung, sweating, said, "No. My inner energy drained faster than I thought it would." He thought to himself, "I need to hide this for now." "Huh? My inner energy?" As his vision blurred, Cheon Jinsang said, "Hey." Jin Yomyung thought to himself, What the? My energy core is completely empty? With this extent of depletion, my energy core should be cracking, or my body should be showing signs of collapse. Cheon Jinsang said. You should have controlled yourself more. Wait, Jin Yomyong said, still sweating, and thought to himself, this is unfair. Cheon Jinsang said, outside of the mainstream, this place is open to be challenged any time. Jin Yomyong thought to himself, to even attempt to drain all of one's inner energy in just 10 seconds, you would have to at least be at the level of an extreme demon. A few moments later, Cheon Jinsang said, everyone is here. Let us begin. The Cheon-il Academy may be ideal for assassinations, but even in urgent cases, they are never conducted overtly. Only the 6 clans would have the resources and confidence to handle the consequences of such an act. Jin Yomyong asked, you think one of the 6 clans is behind it? Cheon Jinsang said, to sum things up, yes. Jin Yomyong thought to himself, thanks to me, the Jin clan has likely escaped any suspicion. Cheon Jinsang continued, with the cult leader's permission, I shall now explain that child's identity to you. Big Sangha said, it is good to see you again, Vice Team Leader. Young Master Jin Yomyong. In truth, I am, Jin Yomyong said, the granddaughter of the Orthodox Alliance leader. Cheon Jinsang's eyes nearly popped out from behind his mask. What? How do you know that? Big Sangha said, as I thought, that question you asked back then was not just to get information out of me. Cheon Jinsang said, then do you know about the 4 phoenixes of the Central Plains? Jin Yomyong replied, I have heard of them in passing. One of them is the Southern Lotus Sword Flower, Cheon Jinsang said. Big Sangha grinned. Hee, Jin Yomyong said. That is her nickname. Big Sangha said, hey, that look on your face is screaming, seriously, her? Even I have feelings, you know. I'm the precious daughter of Nantian's Bake Clan. Jin Yomyong said, that is not it. I just thought you seemed a bit young to be one of the 4 phoenixes. Cheon Jinsang chuckled. Ha ha. Big Sangha said, hey, I will have you know I am 18. Jin Yomyong thought to himself in shock, really? So if Big Sangha is the same age as the young cult leader, does that not mean she is 1 year older than Sabiyon? Big Sangha smirked. Come to think of it, you are 17, are you not? Go ahead then, call me Big Sis, Jin Yomyong said flatly. I refuse, Cheon Jinsang said. This youthful banter is fun and all, but let us move on to the main topic. Jin Yomyong muttered, I never even got to call the young cult leader that. Big Sangha bowed to him. Thank you for saving my life, young Master Jin. I swear on mine and my clan's name that I will repay this debt one day. So, since you have already helped me this much, could you help me just a little more? Jin Yomyong asked. May I be excused now, Academy Head? Big Sangha said. Wait a moment, Cheon Jinsang said. Please just hear her out. Big Sangha said. There is a reason I have to seek refuge here. My uncle and some of the elders have joined forces with external powers. They are trying to oust my father, the next patriarch of our clan. Jin Yomyong said, so what? Big Sangha said, those forces are from unorthodox tyrant heavens. No, more precisely, a different group within it. My grandfather said that mysterious group has already taken over more than half of not just the Alliance, but the entire 10 sects. Jin Yomyong thought to himself, those heaven-defying society scoundrels, they have thoroughly infiltrated the orthodox, unorthodox, and demonic factions alike. He sighed. So rather than trusting any of the other allied factions, you ran to the demonic cult? Even so, it still does not explain why assassins are after you. Big Sangha gripped her sword and said, it is probably because of this. Jin Yomyong's eyes widened. A green sword? No way. Is that what I think it is? This is the Jade Celestial Divine Sword, he said aloud, the Alliance leader's sacred treasure. He thought to himself, who would trust and follow a leader who lost the sacred relic? He pictured Big Sangha's father speaking before the people, it is gone, and the crowd's reaction unbelievable. No wonder the Sword King in my past life fell so disgracefully. Jin Yomyong thought. Then he said, still, how could the Alliance leader smuggle a sacred treasure to the demonic cult? Big Sangha said, right now the demonic cult feels safer than the Alliance. At the center of them is the Wudong sect. They are trying to replace my grandfather as the Alliance head with Sage Guan Hyun, the Taiji Sword Supreme and the current Wudong sect leader. Jin Yomyong thought to himself, my head is spinning. The one who ends up being hailed as the Orthodox's great hero who annihilated the demonic cult, and the man who drove a sword into Cheon Yura's heart. His fists trembled in anger. Big Sangha noticed. Hey, Jin Yomyong asked, let me ask just one thing. Did the Southern Sword King involve our cult just to solve an inner conflict between the Orthodox sects? Big Sangha said, That could very well be the case. However, if this were merely a factional dispute, would they really send assassins into the heart of the 10,000 mountains? This is not just about the orthodox or unorthodox factions anymore. It may even involve someone from the heavenly demon divine cult itself. Additionally, there must be someone or some group tying all these factions together. Orthodox, unorthodox, demonic, we may have yet to even catch a whiff of their trail, but they exist. I am certain of it. Xian Jinsang added, in addition, I believe one of the 6 clans is with them. Jin Yomyong thought to himself, I know exactly which of the 6 clans betrayed us. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.